Alright, and we're live. Welcome back to the Yoko podcast. Good morning, chaps. How are we?
Good, cuz. How you going?
Morning, lads.
Yeah, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
Cuz.
We're finally doing this show live, which we should have been doing many years ago, to be honest with you. It's the way to go.
I think my whole house pretty much hears it live. Up starting coffees. Might have to change this time slot eventually, but meantime it's bad. Just 5:30 a.m. Coffee grinder just ripping through the whole house. One of that's.
It's a good way to start your Saturday morning too, because big night on Friday. Wake up.
Yeah, just coming off the pub.
Yeah.
Get up, lads.
Here we go, cuz.
Yep.
Here we go.
You guys want to hop onto YouTube to see how it's looking, or so we can?
I'll have a look, cuz. Let me have a quick look, cuz. Dude.
See, we got our first comment.
Yeah, I think it was a bot.
I like what he said.
I liked what he said as well.
What did he say?
I respect his opinion. We're not going to go into it, guys, but I mean, it was good.
It was like 1,000 words.
Yeah, it's good for the algorithm. Get our word out there. Bots or no bots.
Hey,
Yeah, we take bots at this point.
Do you see someone else has got a Yoko's podcast on YouTube?
Yeah, old mate.
Alright, we might have to change the name then.
I think maybe we might do, because he's got 253 subscribers, this Yoko's podcast.
Yeah.
I think we can catch him.
Don't take
We should be able to catch him.
Alright. Should we just buy the rights to it?
Yeah.
How's it looking, guys?
I'm just trying to find it right now, because Yoko's live.
Okay. Yeah.
Send us the link, because I'm not finding it anyway.
Yoko's live.
I'll send it to you right now. I'm looking at it.
Just send it to us, guys. Where are you sending it to, cuz?
What's that?
Nice. Thanks, guys. Alright, let's have a look. Live. It's looking great, cuz.
It actually looks alright.
Yeah, it's not bad, cuz. We'll get the job
What's the
done.
chat saying?
How many viewers
They
we
hearing
got?
us alright? Nice, lads. Well, what's on the agenda?
There's like probably about a 5 or 10 second delay
Yeah.
between this video and the YouTube video. Two watching now. I think it's YouTube.
I think it's just me and you, cuz. Send the comments through, cuz.
Hey, keep us updated.
Oh dear.
Alright, fine.
Very
Well, let's just launch into it, boys.
Let's get stuck in.
How's the signal on your end? Is it can we continue, or is it too laggy? Should we drop the live feed?
No, not bad at all, cuz. Let's just get stuck, you know.
And?
Yeah, it's fine on mine.
Alright, fine. Well, boys, I think we're kicking off with the Kamala interview. Came out like a bit over a week ago now. She sat down in CNN's Dana Bash with her and Morty. You boys get a chance to sit down and watch it?
I did, cuz. I did indeed.
Yeah, all 3 parts. What's that about?
All 3 parts.
All 3 parts.
Heavily edited.
Yep.
Yeah, scripted.
I get the sense that it was scripted as all fuckery. It's and it was a bit of a puff piece, let's be honest.
Puff piece.
And it was
Yeah.
still trash after all
Yeah.
that scripting. Like, surely the writers could have done better than that. Waltzy
Yeah,
had
man.
a shocker.
Yeah, he did have a shocker.
Let's just go through it step by step, boys. So, opening question, question 1, day 1, what will you do in office? It's the age-old question. I swear everyone gets asked this question, so it's about as easy as they come. Extremely easy to prepare for. What do you think of a response?
Well, firstly, she's already in office. She is the Vice President of the United States. So, let's be honest, she's already in office. I don't know. There wasn't... for me, I thought it was a bit weak.
she didn't really come out with. She actually had to be prompted by Dana. She went in and said like, "Oh, I really want to strengthen the middle class. I want this new way forward." And then she's like, "The last decade we've been like getting more and more divided." And then even Dana, as much as she loves Kamala, she was like, "Just to be clear though, you've been in office for the last nearly 4 years. So when you say last decade," she's like, yes, but last decade I mean one particular president." I'm like, what does that mean?
It just, yeah, I think you're right. She's been in office for a long time now. She is the vice president. I think it would have been a better stance to come out. That's your opening statement. First interview you've done as the, you're running for president. You lay down like one of your best policies just to start off with. Just go, this is what I'm going to do. Bang. Lay it down. Good start. None of that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, even the policy she did settle on, she'd already backtracked on previously.
Yeah. Fracking. What's the other one?
Yeah, fracking. Immigration or something.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, boys. The flip-flopping, that's a contentious issue.
You don't like the flip-flopping, cuz.
Question 2, we get economy and cost of living question. Dana says that the economy is now worse since she's been in office, her and Biden. What are you going to do to get the economy back on track? And again, we see a bit more wishy-washy stuff. She does say that she's capped the insulin cost at $35 for seniors.
Yeah.
I've heard that may not have been thanks to her. I think Trump had a few words about that on Theo's podcast. But she did point to that. So regardless, I think that's a pretty good thing. I did hear them say they've capped annual cost of medicines to $2,000. I don't know actually if that's a real thing, but that would also be pretty decent for seniors. I don't know.
Yeah, but the T's and C's behind that would have to be pretty astronomical, you'd think.
What are the T's and C's? Because
you can't just go, the cap for a yearly pension is only going to be $2,000. Some pensioners are going to have a lot more medication required than another one.
Yeah, the blanket cap.
Yeah, it's not going to be a blanket cap.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there because she goes into the tax credit for $25,000 for first-time home buyers, and then Dana does rightly ask her, "Why haven't you done this already?"
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana had her moments. Fair play. She got a lot of heat, but I think she did usher her along throughout the interview. But I didn't think she did a horrible job. Everyone's saying she should be fired on the spot, killed. I thought she was alright.
Stoned, public stoning. Good old way. Alright, now she goes into... Then she doubles down on her questions and says, what are your actual key policies that you're going to be coming in and, implementing in office? Yep. This is where she actually says, let's get some specifics. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
And she goes into the Green New Deal. I don't really understand what the Green New Deal is. I just know that she said she wanted to ban fracking in 2019, then she switched in 2020. Dana did push her a little bit for that. So why did you switch? And she's like, my values haven't changed. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes very little to no sense whatsoever. So
it's a pretty good answer though. Like, I've been the same from day one. Like, if you're gonna attack me personally, I've always worn my heart on my sleeve. It's like, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Why did you change?
What did you change for?
Look, if you want to have a go at my character.
I'm still the same old Kamala.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah. And she goes into immigration, record border crossings during Biden. And then she said that they did try to pass a bill for 1,500 more boots on ground on the border. But apparently DTs didn't sign it. I was meaning to fact check that, didn't get around to it, but she threw that one out there. Thoughts?
That so DT didn't sign it.
Apparently DTs blocked that. I don't know when, I don't know how, but they wanted to get 1,500 more personnel on the border And apparently that's what she's just throwing out there.
Okay.
When they say that there was record low numbers of border crossings.
Record border crossings, as in high.
Yeah, as in high.
Oh, record high.
So
Oh,
it was
'cause I remember
record
as high as they were.
she
As
came
high
out and
as
said
they
that
have ever
there was like illegal. Those numbers were down, and then JD was saying that it's because they just let them all in through the actual border. So
Yeah, they were like flying them in.
Yeah. They were cutting the
I don't think
gates
I know,
open and just letting them wander on through. How about it?
So yeah, there wasn't anything illegal about those border crossings. They just beamed them in.
Yeah.
Then she said, Dana rightly said, Kamala, you've been flip-flopping on issues here, Green New Deals, immigration. How should voters see these changes? Have you developed as a person? She gives her like a nice multi-choice option. Like, have you just grown as a person? Are these just signs of changing times? And it's really like you're just a fireside, comfy, sitting on the couch sort of chat. And then Kamala says, my values haven't changed, reiterates all that shit.
Yeah.
Then we move on to Israel-Hamas, hot button topic. And this is actually quite interesting because obviously the pro-Palestine movement's pretty big in the US, and that's kind of like a left-leaning democratic sort of push there. So I feel like this was quite a tough one for her because she said, "Are you going to withhold shipments / weapons to Israel?" Because that's what a lot of these pro-Palestine people have been saying. Didn't really push her too hard, and
No.
but I thought it was a good question to have in there. What were your thoughts on that, boys?
Yeah, look, I think there's not a lot that she can say at this point in time, unfortunately. There's just not much. And I think as a reporter, they can't actually say much either because we'll probably get to it later on in the pod, but there's not much you can do over there right at this point in time. So I think the Palestine-Israel conflict is a tough question to get asked for anyone. So yeah.
Well, she did the exact same response as Keir Starmer, which was just essentially two-state solution.
Yeah.
We have to get a deal done, get those hostages.
that's the best, safest answer.
Yeah, but that's everyone
Pieces
says the
both
same
sides.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We need
just
a
the
ceasefire.
script. Yeah. Let's just stop killing each other.
Yeah.
No specifics, but she did say she's got unwavering support for Israel. So those weapon shipments ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
No surprises.
All right, then we turn our attention onto Waltzy. Enter the waltz.
Oh, Walty. This was a shit show. This was an absolute fucking
Jesus.
shit show. It was actually tough to watch. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I was just cringe.
I had to skip his
On the
parts,
edge.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You couldn't even watch it.
I couldn't watch it. The sun part, I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm not watching this.
Uh,
I'm so done with this.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
look, my grammar's not always correct. Sometimes they say I served in wars. Sometimes they say I didn't.
Yeah, my wife corrects me all the time.
yeah. Like, you did, yeah. Sometimes they say I served 20 years in the forces. But in reality, my wife tells me that, no, you didn't. But, I get my grammar incorrect. She's like,
I'm always in trouble
what?
for that sort of stuff. It's not even your grammar.
It was an absolute shit show.
Straight up lying.
Yeah.
I'm always
Straight up lying to my face. But he went for the, he was really leaning into the kind of that, kind of Midwesterner sort of,
of
plain
course.
English talking, guy.
It's
Yeah.
between
Everyone's
him and
made-
JD trying to fight for the middle class. So they need to really play that.
Is really leaning into that.
Even Kamala,
and-
when she heard the news, I was cooking up bacon for the family. People were asking me,
Yeah.
can I please
Yeah.
have some more bacon?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a sec, actually. That was ridiculous. Then, apparently this guy, Waltzy's been done for booze behind the wheel, 1995. They bring that out of the closet just 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yes. Yeah.
So he got put away for drunk driving. His there's something about the IVF stuff. I don't really know what the big deal with that was, but that's seemingly a growing problem. I don't know.
Yeah, he lied about the contraception or something. Was that
point?
another
grammar slip.
Yeah, that was a straight up grammar slip. He didn't. Yeah. He wasn't meaning what he was saying because his wife was
on him about that. Yeah. So Waltzy, but to be honest with you, having Waltzy there did allow Kamala to just take some of the heat off her. Not like she was really getting pressed, but I think that's what she was trying to do. But the overall impact of that just kind of weakened her whole.
I agree.
View.
Yeah.
It really took away from her kind of strength as a leader.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and obviously you're running to become the next president of the United States. Big role, probably one of the biggest roles in the world. You got to be sitting there thinking, "This is my VP right beside me." I know she was putting on a brave face and smiling while he was having a chat, but surely she is thinking, "This has got to be hurting my campaign right about now."
Yeah, well, I don't know if he can come out being super strong about his points, because then it kind of overshadows Kamala. So he's kind of in a tough spot where he can't be super brash. If you took a JD approach, they'd be like,
JD does take that sort of approach.
Yeah, but he matches Trump's energy.
I agree.
If he came out with
doesn't match Kamala's energy, I don't feel.
Yeah, they're both just wishy-washy, sitting there trying to be
family then in that way they do match each other's energy. That's very true.
Yeah. So I think he's kind of just I'm just going to keep it simple, not try and overshadow her, and just say what I need to say.
Yeah.
And now they both just look as bad as each other.
Because Kamala didn't really have a lot of strength in her convictions and wasn't putting really clear points forward and wasn't really running the show there. It was almost like she was always just on the defense, trying to say as little as possible and wasn't really on the front foot and trying to deliver her, what she wasn't, pushing to get as much out there. She was just saying the bare minimum to get through the interview. That's what it felt like. She wasn't there to communicate big ideas and things that she's been working on. She was there just to get through the questions and get it done, with minimal damage.
It's the first interview as well, fully scripted, fully edited. I just don't know how they settled on that.
I tend to agree.
Then we go on to, we start to wrap it up with, they ask, how they turn their attention onto Biden, and they do make a comment about her thoughts on leadership, saying it's based on who you build up, not beat down. Fair enough. And then she paints this story about her sitting down with her nieces, frying up pancakes, bacon.
Beautiful, beautiful story.
Yeah, they're asking her auntie for a bit more bacon. She's like, yeah, just a sec. Setting up the puzzles in the living room. Sun's just coming up. Everyone's on coffees. Beautiful
birds
day out
chirping.
Somewhere. Wherever the hell they are. Maybe Washington.
Yep.
And birds are chirping away. And then they just hear the landline ring.
Oh no.
Who could that be? They think it's old, another one of the aunties calling in. But there it is, Uncle Biden.
Yep. Big Joey.
You be.
on the other line. He's got something to say, that's for sure. He has got something to say.
And that's when her whole world changed in that moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's obviously a bunch of BS, but it was a nice picture, nice little image.
That's very wholesome.
I'm sure it resonates with a few Americans.
I love it how she's like, first off, I asked how he was. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
That was number one priority right there.
His health is my number one priority.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. Then they talk about the legacy of Biden. What's he leaving behind?
What is he leaving behind? In reality, boys.
This is one where you really wanted some strength.
Yeah.
You wanted some key dot points that they could edit and clip and put out there onto social media or whatever. But they said essentially three things: investing in US infrastructure and industry.
Yeah.
Don't know. I feel like you could say that about anyone.
Yeah. Without the numbers, I don't think it's a very, very common.
Yeah. You can find
Number
any way to
two.
back that up.
Bring alliances back and grow alliances.
Mm-hmm.
He has strengthened the UN kind of stance. I give him that.
Mm.
Okay.
3 wars started while he's in office.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I mean,
I agree.
I don't know if you can just correlate
think-
that to Biden.
I think you put it straight down to Biden. 100% Biden.
It was his bloodshed.
3 wars.
The US has a very far reach, and 3 wars started under his watch.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
It would never happen.
Nope.
That's
And the other thing, just on that point, when you're talking about alliances, I think a really important point for any sort of leader, especially of the US, is to be able to maintain those alliances and fly overseas and sit down with these leaders. And I just really can't see Kamala sitting down with Putin and having any sort of meaningful conduct.
It's funny you said that. Did you see the interview with Putin?
I did see the interview with Putin. It's very
What
funny.
happened
Putin endorsed Kamala as the next president. I feel like it's KGB mind games, if I'm being perfectly honest. I feel
Yeah.
Putin and Trump have got on the line. It's like, well, Putin, if you endorse Kamala, all the people that hate Putin out there that may have supported you might flip sides or not vote altogether. But he has come out and said that he believes that Kamala is a strong leader, and that's about it.
He was laughing when he said it.
Yeah, he was laughing when he said
the
it.
whole crowd burst out laughing. He's like, of course I support Kamala. She's a phenomenal leader.
Yeah.
And he's like looking at us laughing.
So, I feel like for Putin, okay, there's 2 ways of looking at this. You've got, is Putin just actually telling the truth and going, well, Kamala's going to be good in there because she ain't going to do shit. She ain't going to put sanctions on Russia. She ain't going to do anything to us. Or is it mind games to, possibly hurt Kamala's chances at the presidency?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think, I don't actually know how strong the relationship between Putin and Trump was, besides what Trump says.
Yeah.
So, I think the safest bet would be to get Kamala in.
No, that she's going to be a kind of weaker leader or a more passive leader than what Trump would be. And,
yeah.
I think Putin just loves the chaos. He loves it.
Throws a few grenades in and just see how he goes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just on the sidelines, tripping them up.
And it was
Him and Cigar parked up on the booze.
just watching it all unfold.
So yeah, I think that's a big issue. Yeah, I think no one will keep Putin in check like Kamala.
Yeah, she'll crack the whip.
She definitely cracked the whip.
I really don't see her ever flying into Moscow. She'll send one of her lackeys. I can't possibly see her Air Force One touching down Moscow, going into the Kremlin. If she really does hit the fan, I would hate to think of her sitting down in those big military boardroom meetings or big high stakes discussions. You've got Putin there, you've got Shishin.
That's where you need JD in.
That's where you need boots on the ground, JD, just sitting there, fired up.
Yeah. He comes in hot.
It's actually a good segue into that JD interview, to be fair.
Yeah, let's move on. I think, but overall impressions was extremely softball interactions with softball interview, giving multi-choice, not pressing for answers, having the dual Harris-Waltzy combo took away a lot of strength from Harris, and having this whole edited thing. And just my overall impression was that she didn't really want to tell us anything.
No, I agree.
All right, move on to JD.
JD, fired up.
Did you see the other? So JD's come out on. So first off, the Fox interview, but then he had the same CNN interview with Dana as well. So you
Have you seen that one?
Is that what I watched the whole thing last night?
No.
Yeah. He gets absolutely
it was a
rorted by
bit of
Dana.
a different sort of interview, if you could be honest. Like how she was treating JD compared to how she was talking to Kamala and Waltzy.
Yeah, JD got put through the fire, as per usual.
Dana is talking like an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, she was very bitter. Let's just be
Extremely hostile, challenging him on little points,
Yeah.
like interrupting him, cutting in, and it's just her and JD first off. So he's got nowhere to hide, and it's just he's got fired up Dana just on his case.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
JD cops it. But yeah, it was good seeing him sit down with the Foxies. And,
I agree.
Talk through it.
Yeah, a good home base.
They like what he got to say,
is.
and they just love him as well. Tell us more,
They
JD.
weren't letting him off just willy nilly though. Like he was hitting hard. He was hitting hard on a lot of points. It does seem like they're both really trying to nail down that middle class at the moment. And going with I think just like it seems to be a very populist approach, even from both sides as well. Trumpy and from Kamala, just going for the straight, like Trumpy backtracking on IVF, Kamala backtracking on fracking. It just seems to be, I don't know.
Racing to the middle is what they call it, and everyone's trying to not say anything too incriminating to upset the middle. And just try to make everything nice and family friendly. Everyone's pro-family. Everybody wants growth of the economy. Everyone wants more jobs. Just saying all the same shit because ultimately they're trying to tailor to those like the big swing states like Pennsylvania.
It's the Rust Belt.
Yep.
The concern is that it's like low research voting where people have just snapped up headlines. No one's really watched a full interview or taken a deep dive. And they just use that because they're so fucking busy as it is. They don't have time to do all this research like we're obviously doing. And then when it comes to voting, they're like, I saw a couple of good headlines and then that's it.
Yeah. I think getting, Tulsi and fucking RFK as well, just the old Democrat icons to side with him as well is it's quite.
Do you guys watch Tulsi's Fox segment as well?
I haven't seen it. No. Was it good?
It wasn't bad.
Okay.
So
It's worth a watch.
Really, it's worth a watch. Tulsi's such a strong leader and speaker. She's got. Yeah, she's extremely well spoken and confident, and the way her main emphasis was concerned about world wars and peace. So she thinks that, kind of what I was saying before, that the sitting down with foreign powers, Kamala would be a terrible candidate for that. She had an ice cold take saying that Kamala will lead the US into war to make the weakness and insecurity she feels and try to project strength.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's a big call.
Huge call.
I know.
I like the call.
That's a huge call.
It could be an interesting.
Jesus.
It'd be interesting.
Gloves
to see how
off,
it works
bare
out,
knuckle.
but- Very big
Tulsi
call.
coming in hot.
Yeah, she
That
wasn't
might be-
happy about
that'll-
the Arlington
that'll be worth
Cemetery
watching.
Memorial, where Kamala wasn't there or something, but Donald Trump was there in droves, and he spent a lot of time with the families, which was, 13 people died from the Afghan withdrawal catastrophe, and she was just kind of emphasizing that it's kind of like how Obama refused to go after Al-Qaeda in Syria. So, yes, that's her primary concern, which is foreign policy and meeting with foreign powers. So having Tulsi on board, I don't know how much of a swing she has, but
I think
she
it would be a
does
good swing.
have a lot of strength.
It'd be a decent swing. Yes. I think there's also the problem, even though, and this is what I found interesting with that JD interview, and obviously it isn't from JD, but even that being said, is that you've got Trump coming out and having, even though he's backtracking on a few of these stances, he's actually getting policies in place as to why it's better going that way. Where when Kamala is backtracking on certain policies, gun repossession, anti-fracking, she just doesn't have a policy set in place to support her decision on backtracking.
Agreed.
Yeah, she just backtracks for the sake of backtracking. Just like, oh, things change.
But no
It's
policy,
like,
no policy in place.
there's no
Trump
reason.
puts that policy in place.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I may have said this before, but this is why it's changed.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
I did see Lexi Freeds sit down with Trump as well. You guys catch that one?
I saw it out there, but I haven't had a chance to actually watch it. Did you get into it?
Another good watch.
It was a pretty good watch. Actually, you'll be happy to know that the old UFOs and JFK got brought up
Well, actually,
and lumped in.
Yeah.
Lumped
They're
in
all
and-
lumped in with the
All
files.
lumped in. Yeah.
Beautiful.
same video.
That's what you want.
Lex was like, when are we gonna finally see the UFO files and the JFK files? And Trump's like, well, I've released a bit of JFK stuff, and I'll be sure to release UFO and JFK files. So, one of the same
Used to
file.
Yeah.
They'll be coming out.
Those files
We'll be
be
doing the
coming out
live scroll through.
no time. That'll be quite good, actually.
Yeah, that'll be big. It was literally just like, will you release the files? And Trump's like, of course I'll release the files. It's like, okay.
That's
Sweet.
good clip.
That was a big step away
Yeah.
from that one.
My question is, JD's obviously doing a million interviews a day.
Yep.
Doing CNN, doing Fox, bouncing around the place, always in the hot seat. And I have been hearing whispers that DTs might be thinking at RFK as switch over for him as the vice. All right,
You just lost
stay
guys.
there, cuz. We'll give him a sec.
You just dropped off. You're hearing whispers that there's going to be a switchover.
Jeez. Alright. Yeah, I'm here.
This is
Here he
Laptop
is.
just
Jeez.
decided to.
You there, cuz?
Alright, yeah, I'm here. Laptop just decided.
I'm hearing whispers that they might be switching out our boy JD
Okay.
into with RFK.
Why would they switch that though? Aren't they pretty much the same age?
Well, RFK, that'd be a wild card. First off, Trump and Kennedy.
Is this boots on ground US or where are these whispers
in the
coming?
US. This is late news. This could be final hour switch ups. But I wanted to get your take on it, boys. Would that be something you support, or should they stick to their guns? They've come this far with JD. Obviously, we love JD here, but RFK is obviously great in his own right. And to be fair, JD's got his whole career ahead of him. These are the last years of the candidate of RFK to really make a big difference. So there's also that argument as well.
I wouldn't be impressed.
Do you think
JD's
it would
done his
be?
time.
Do you,
He's earned his spot.
do you think it would show a weaker
Do you
stance?
think it would be-
A million
Yeah.
interviews he's done.
Do you think it would show a weaker stance from Trump if he did do that, though?
Possibly.
I think you could easily sell the whole.
Try and get
it's
some
his last
sympathy votes for
chance. Let's bring him
Yeah.
in. Like,
Try and get some
there's
sympathy
an
votes
angle
for
there.
him.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. Let's do
Yeah.
it for the Kennedys.
Are you-
That could be a
Yeah.
good way to sell it.
Yeah.
But JD
They-
is pretty polarizing.
Yeah.
And he has done his
RFK,
time as
it's
well.
a lot easier to sell him.
And he has done
As
his
much as
time
we
as
love
well.
Yeah, so
Fired up
I don't
JD
know.
can upset a lot of people. When Dana was like, JD, I just think it's untoward to criticize veterans. She's like, I've never criticized veterans, alright? I am a veteran
Oh
myself.
God, Jew war.
I've gone to war.
He was
Oh,
fired up.
God,
country.
Jew
He
war.
was definitely fired up.
Yeah, he was fired up. He was definitely fired up.
I don't know. I think it's a late game switch up would be pretty interesting. I think that as much as I'd love to see Tulsi, I'd much prefer Tulsi. I think Tulsi would be a great VP as well. But I think that the strongest argument would be RFK because it's his last. He can really get 2 more terms out of him, and then that's it. So that's why I think a late switch up wouldn't be completely off the cards. It would be very interesting if that happened. But then you look at people like Vivek, and like he's still getting the job done. Trump will give him a great position in his cabinet. Vivek's come out and he's got this. He's just made this movie with him and Tony Robbins about like child slavery in US. It's kind of like the Sound of Freedom themed movie that's just come out. So Vivek's out there, and even though he didn't really make a lot of headway in his campaign, he's still doing a lot of good work, and the people love him, and he's got his whole career ahead of him. So these young guns like him and JD they're going to be around for a long time.
JD's not going anywhere.
JD's around for the long haul. That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
I do
So
like JD. What do you guys think about the old ABC interview coming up?
What's on?
The debate between the two of them.
Yeah.
When is that?
That's next week, right?
Next week, yeah. Yeah.
Just never ends.
It might be. I might watch that one live, boys. To be fair, that'll be a pretty decent interview, I think.
I think it's going to be similar to
The first one.
Yeah, the Biden. Yeah, it's just going to be you backtracked on this, you did this. They're both kind of just on the deep, like just personal attacks at each other. No one really setting forward their own policies and how they're going to make things better. It's just going to be like you had the worst. No, you had the worst. It's just going to be the same thing. So, but I'm interested to see how Kamala actually handles that kind of pressure. Because I don't think they've actually ever met. Is that what they said in that interview? They've never actually...
They've never actually had any direct interactions.
Yeah. It could be interesting, man. Very interesting.
Under the lights.
But have they released the ground rules, like any particular changes to the
Yeah, they have. Well, I'm not sure. So, they will not get the questions beforehand and are allowed no notes. So, do you think that's probably going to hinder Kamala?
Big time.
So, like, no notes, no editing videos. So this will be our first one, obviously, coming out. So it's definitely good. What's that? No Walty either. No Walty ain't coming in.
I'd love to see a Walty JD debate.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty cool. Walty JD. It would not go well. Show me your 20 years in the service, mate.
Yeah, JD's had about 20 Bud Lights coming in.
But then there will be no audience, and interestingly, the two candidates cannot respond to each other, only the moderator. So they can't talk to one another.
Oh, that's a huge one. That's going to really hinder Trumpy.
I think that's kind of what they did with
Biden. They weren't really talking directly to each other at all.
I think they're going to put...
They had a few side hustles.
What's your fucking handicap, cuz?
I've seen you swing.
You ain't no 20 on the course, cuz. So no interactions whatsoever. Or the moderator will stop it straight away. Cut the mics, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's ABC. So it's
ABC.
not going to be Dana.
Yeah, ABC.
Fair enough. All right, well, that's going to be the one. That'll be the centerpiece of next week's episode, lads.
Yeah, that'll be a good app.
Yeah.
Well,
on the pulse.
I guess, keep your finger on the pulse, lads. I did want to touch a couple of side...
Finger on the pulse, lads.
Didn't want to touch on Iran while we're here.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Bring it in.
Let's go, because what are we looking at?
So I was listening to our boy Mike Baker, arguably my favorite Joe Rogan guest.
Yeah.
Because he just comes in all things world news. Apparently he's got a podcast called The World President's Daily Brief. That actually sounds dope. And it's like ex-CIA is just all things, global politics, and world order sort of stuff. And anyway, the question is it's been how long now since Israel took out Iran's president? It's been like a good month.
Mm.
So they, first off, why hasn't Iran retaliated on Israel yet? And that's a question that everyone keeps asking Mike Baker and asking me as well, to be fair. But do you guys have any ideas why is it taking so long? And is a retaliation ever going to happen?
I think so. I think you might see one. I think Israel is very, very well defended. Number one, they are heavily defended. Like Iran did send some rockets in, but their Iron Dome system just took care of it very, very quickly. I don't know what Iran is waiting for, to be fair. I can't answer it. But
I don't think Iran's very well positioned with that drone attack. They're like, 2,000 k's away from Israel. I think, I think they're waiting to get their boys in Lebanon, Yemen on side to stage an attack rather than attack themselves and risk getting flanked by the US.
But that's the thing, is that if they do an attack, then does the US step in again? The US probably will step in, and then all hell breaks loose. It's a World War III all over it. It just will be. So I can't imagine. Iran has to be weighing up the options, going, if we do attack Israel and we get a few of the boys that America definitely doesn't like on our side, then we're just setting ourselves up for absolute annihilation.
And I think there's benefit in kind of just having that threat just imminent. You kind of like the psychological effects for Israel. They're like, we could be attacked any second now by one of Iran's counterparts or Iran themselves. So it's like they're sitting waiting in the wings. There's benefit to that as well. It's tough one. I think most likely they're going to go through one of their set up a proxy and go through.
I didn't think Israel got the Iranian president. I thought they got the Hamas leader.
So,
yeah,
he was there for the newly elected president of Iran, Masood, and they got the Hamas leader into Iran. Ismail Haniyeh. So this guy, they said the circumstances first off showed that Mossad, the Israel Secret Service military division, what they actually did there was pretty high end, in terms of just intel. So they got him in an actual safe house. So this is a Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps compound, which is a highly fortified compound, safe house, where this guy Ismail Haniyeh was in there. And the fact that they were able to get in there and know his movements and step in and take him out with that airstrike when he was at the top floor, which was an office or something. So he said behind that, it shows the depths of their abilities to get these assets in. They had to set up the explosives. They had to have a trigger in there to say when Haniyeh was actually up there. And this is all in the depths of Tehran. So it shows the degree of infiltration, firstly. And Mike Baker was saying that he thinks that Iran could be extremely freaked out about how heavily infiltrated they actually are by Mossad.
Yeah. Interesting.
So.
Yeah, I think that's why they would go through Lebanon. Iran wouldn't risk themselves with a direct attack. I think they'd definitely flank through Iraq, Yemen, one of their counterparts.
Yeah, and the exact same thing with Beirut. Getting that guy out there, drone strikes on the top floor, shows that these guys are pretty rock solid. So if you retaliate, who knows if first off they'd probably be aware of any sort of retaliation plans way before they hit them, and then who knows what the counter strike would be from Israel for that. So that was his argument, is that it just shows very heavily infiltrated Iran Iranian intel. So another thing he makes is with something about when they sent off the barrage of drone strikes onto Israel. Apparently, within 15 minutes, Israel had sent in low jets straight back over to them. So they know these strikes before they even send them. They've got advanced intel. And ultimately as well is that I think they're most concerned about just US retaliation as well.
Yeah. The IDF is completely backed by the US. Like their jets, like Iran has no military capacity compared to Israel. Like they would get easily clean swept. They need to bring in other allies, and then even if they do, Israel brings in the US. Like that's game. So.
Well, Iran, who would you be bringing in? Like you could bring in a China or a Russia, which could shake.
If they bring in, one of the big boys, then that's a shake up. But
then the US definitely step in, and then we have World War III. So there's a few problems there for Iran at the moment.
I don't know what Saudi does in all this, because they're kind of right in the heart of it.
Well, they just supply the weapons, bit of cash, keep their hands clean.
I think they kind of just keep on the sidelines. I was looking into who they're really allied with. And they're kind of setting up talks with Iran, but they're not impressed with how much they're fighting with Israel. They want to keep it peaceful. Yeah. It's like, they've really set themselves up quite well.
Yeah, they're just getting cash in for all these weapons. And,
just getting cash out of it all.
For them it's just a cash cow.
Yeah,
they're not really too fussed either way.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll I don't know.
What's your
thoughts?
I think
long and short of it is that we're not going to see any retaliations anytime soon.
Yeah.
You don't think anytime
agree.
soon?
Do you think before we have the next bolt?
Within our lifetime, guys.
No answer.
Well,
that's
no
right.
comment.
No comment. That's a tough one, guys. It's a hardball question. Chaps, let's get on with it. Sports.
Man, what a time to be alive for sports. What a time to be alive. It is our favourite segment on this show. That's very true. Well, should we just kick it off? AFL into the finals.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's just start off with the AFL finals. Well, all right. So you had number 2, number 3 in Port Adelaide and Geelong facing off.
Yep.
Everyone picked probably a Port win at home in Adelaide for Port Adelaide, and Geelong just absolutely mauled them.
Yeah,
Mauled them.
138-54.
Yeah, it's just straight up mauls. It wasn't an elimination final, so Port still have a chance to redeem themselves. But big statement by Geelong now. I feel very big statement by Geelong. And then you had an elimination final between, who was it today? You had sorry boys, I forget.
Bulldogs Hawthorn.
That's right, Bulldogs Hawthorn. So Hawthorn coming in from mid-season, absolutely near the bottom of the table, going nowhere, and then you just get these young lads start standing up. They just stand up. Old boy, you just see them. They pull themselves together, and these lads, they're just superstars. In reality, they are superstars. Like they're young, they're hungry. I think Hawthorn are probably the most dangerous team out there at the moment. No one wants to play them. No one wants to play them. Like, there was a photo of I think it was Giovanni or Gunston the night before the finals game at the pub, just sipping on a pint, and someone takes a photo of him, and he just stares him down while he's taking a photo of him. Like, these boys are just all out for it. They want it. They're hungry. If you get a chance, watch some of their interviews. They're brash. They've just got that star appeal. So, I would worry about Hawthorn. Yeah, tomorrow we've got, the Lions coming in against Carlton. So
Yeah, how do you see that one?
Carlton scraping in by the skin of their noses, sort of thing. Very, very lucky to be where they are. Yep, they are. At home for the Lions. Lions are very, very strong at the Gabba. I can't imagine they shouldn't have any problems. But that being said, Carlton had a massive injury sort of list, and they're getting a fair few players back in for this final. So could be an interesting watch. I tip the Lions to win. I tip them comfortably to win, just at home advantage. Gabba usually works well for them, but Carlton could throw a little spanner in the works there.
What's the wager, cuz?
Bookies have the Lions to win at $1.25.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You reckon the Swannies will be alright?
I think that'll probably be the most interesting game, I think. Once again, Swannies do get a few injuries back as well, so they get Papley back. I think that Heaney's playing again, so they pretty much got a full squad again. I think they probably beat GWS, but it'll be a good little Sydney prelim, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mind that. Pretty prime time as well, 3:20.
Yeah, I'd head down to pub to watch that one, boys. It's a good watch.
Yeah, that'll be worth it.
That'll be a decent watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't mind that call.
Yeah.
That's actually
Get down there.
cool, guys.
Get down there.
Well, thanks, guys. That was a pretty clean update. All right. Keen to see where that goes. What about NRL?
NRL, we're leading up to the finals. Big game, actually. Big game.
Battle for eighth.
For the 8th, yeah. You got 4 of them battling it out.
Outside chance, Raiders.
I don't think so, just on points.
Yeah, I think try difference.
I think they're going to get annihilated, but it should be interesting. It should be an interesting game.
They need something big.
They would need to win by like 150 odd. And for either Newcastle or St. George to lose, I believe.
Yeah.
Get that Raiders Dragons game on your left, Sydney GWS on your right.
Just straight down the bus, guys. Yeah. They'll have both games going. It'd be pretty good. I was impressed. I was impressed with you, Maxi, as well. F1 on the weekend.
I know, guys. Hey, I've been saving that.
You picked it.
Let's get it.
You picked it.
You know what I actually want to do, lads? Let's just share screen here and go back to our last episode, because I think we had some pretty hard calls coming out from Cuz, and it's not often that we finally get him on camera and live in the act.
I'll eat my words there, Cuz. You were right.
Run the footage back.
Run the footage back, Cuz.
Wait, didn't you say ham?
No, on hard print right here.
It's hard print. Run the footage, Cuz. This ain't gonna break any YouTube sort of intellectual property rules, is it?
Yeah, I think we'll be alright, Cuz. Alright.
Run the footage, Cuz. There we go.
Alright, let me just turn these headphones off so we can hear.
Push play, Cuz.
This way, so.
It's going to be crazy loud again.
Alright. Is that coming through?
So he used to do the same thing when, he was getting overtaken when he was so dominant. It's, there'd be a few things.
Yeah, and I do believe that to an extent it probably is the car, because the car is the most important thing. You could probably take any of those top 10 drivers out and put it in the other person's car, and if their car's quicker, with a bit of testing, they'll probably be just as quick, if not, at the same level of stuff.
Yeah,
I tend to agree with you there, because I am pretty keen from Monza. I just want to see Sharp win it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, outside chance for right?
Nope.
Home turf?
No chance.
Zero chance.
I don't mind that.
There we go. I'd love to. It's not going to happen.
I actually put on my fantasy for Monza, so you know.
Oh yeah,
Too much
yeah,
of it.
fantasy about that.
You're going ham. That's a bit. Well done, Kaz.
There it is. You got to turn yours off, Maxie. It's all echoey.
Put the headphones back on, Kaz. There we go.
Didn't come through very well.
No, that was fine, Kaz. But oh yeah, I was wrong. Absolutely wrong. It's good to see Leclerc win it, to be fair.
Charles takes it home. Huge win. Cleaned up. Pulled off the one stop. Ballsy. Extremely ballsy. I wanted to get your take on that, because how come he was able to pull off the one stop and McLaren just stopped it?
I don't know, maybe McLaren weren't just good enough on their tyres, I'm guessing. I think, looking back, Piastri, McLaren did offer the boys a call to say, do you want to go longer? Piastri said no. I think these tyres are done. I think Leclerc could have been managing tyres, or the Ferraris were just better on their tyres at Monza. It is ballsy to go a one-stop at Monza as well, so a fair play to Charles. I think if the roles were reversed, Piastri knew that Charles is going to go at one-stop, he probably would have pushed for a one-stop too. Whether or not Charles would have caught him, I don't think so. I think, in their mind psychologically, they're thinking, well, this is a two-stop race. I don't want to get caught out. We're in a winning position right now. Let's take a stop. Let's get out in front again. Don't let Charles try and undercut us. And that's the problem with being out in front. But yeah, Charles just said, fuck it, let's go for it. It's the only way we're going to get the win, so let's have a crack. There comes a point where, if the front runner pits before you in second position or third position, and they pit before you, then you've got no chance to catch them up at the 30 lap mark. So for Charles, it was an all or nothing and paid off.
Charles called me up and he said, I did that for you, cuz.
Well, I appreciate it, cuz.
This is for the fantasy.
Well, you still went ham for the fantasy, didn't you?
I went ham for my fantasy, to be fair. But,
You do like to say it.
Yeah. Well, how do you see the rest of the season panning out for old Red Bull? I saw a little.
Right, well,
let's
just paint the scene here before we get into Perez. So, for the points, we've got Stabs 303.
Yep.
Norris 241. And Charles 217.
Yeah.
Who's got 217 or Charles?
Well, I don't even know why we've got Charles in the discussion here. Charles is not going to win this championship. There's no outside chance. Charles is not. I will happily go on record. I'm happy to go on record on this one. Charles is not going to win this season's championship. He just will not. He got very lucky. I think he had the home crowd. He had the Tifosi behind him. It was, everything went right for him. His car is not fast enough.
I think their engineers have finally sorted it out.
Well, you reckon they've just been calling
their strategies are just
can you start
dial them in.
I don't.
If Charles puts away Azerbaijan this race, he could actually be stepping up to the plate.
If Charles puts Azerbaijan away this week, I will come on here and publicly go, Charles is an outside chance. But he will not win Azerbaijan, and he is not an outside chance of the championship this year. I can tell you that right now. You can send this video, get Charles back on the phone, send him the video and go, look, Cuz doesn't think you're going to do it. And I hope he does. I probably prefer Charles out of the three, to be fair. I like Charles.
Yeah.
But he ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it, Cuz. So, I think Norris is going to do it. I think Norris
is going to take it?
Changed your tune a lot from last week, because
I think that there is, if McLaren, this was the issue with this race, okay? If McLaren had proper team orders and they want the win, because, McLaren now are leading the Constructors' Championship. They will win the Constructors' Championship. So they've got the Constructors' Championship, they're in lead.
Thanks to Perez.
Thanks to Perez. Partly because of Perez, but they've got the Constructors' Championship. If they want to win the championship, they need to have more team orders. And I think, you know, this wishy-washy, let's let them race sort of bullshit as long as they don't contact each other is not the way to win races. And you saw it with Red Bull. When Red Bull were winning with Vettel, with Verstappen, and, you know, even when Ricciardo was there as well, it was always, let the other one pass, they're fighting for the championship, you're not. So it is what it is. If you want to win championships, that's what you got to do. At the moment, McLaren have a problem where they have two very, very good drivers and two very, very good cars. And that first lap where Piastri got past Norris, you know, it cost Norris a place to shut. So
dumb.
I think it wasn't very smart. I think if they managed it to and said, Norris is out in front, Piastri, you just hold off Charles, they would have won the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't blame Moscow. He's like, fuck this, I'm going number one. He saw an opening and he took it.
He did, but ultimately look where they finished, 2 and 3. So it didn't work out for him.
Yeah. 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 Well,
should be exciting into the season anyway.
It's shaken up, guys. It's
It will be.
shaken up big time.
It will be a good end.
What's the predictions for Azerbaijan? I'm obviously going Leclerc.
I think Charles would be... Charles is my fave, but I think in reality Norris should put it away. And ideally Charles then Norris, but I think Kaz is right. It'll be a Norris-Piastri sort of situation.
Yeah, it'll be Norris or Piastri that win it. But honestly, at this point in time, though, I can't really predict the two of them. They're both in very similar cars, so I think it's going to be Norris or Piastri.
You can't predict much at this stage, Kaz.
I cannot, because that's very true. It's a hot season, Kaz. It's a hot season. I'm enjoying it though. It's like it's finally you're finally after 3 years of just pure shit. Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, 3 years of pure shit until the end of the season with Hamilton and Verstappen, and then just Verstappen winning. You finally have a season where it's like, you know, you don't just have one dominant team winning it, where it was Mercedes or it was Red Bull. Now you have a few in the mix. Verstappen, yeah. And like Perez said to the interviewers, it was quite funny. He's like, oh, well, now Verstappen knows what it's like to be in my boat with the shitty car. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's good to see Verstappen's bitching and whining about the car as well.
Yeah, you love to see it. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Kicking tires, yelling at engineers.
He was not happy. He was not happy at all. Both in there, because it's true.
Yeah, would have been there.
Alright, chaps, let's wrap this up. You boys get it done?
I got it done, cuz.
And
Take the lead.
Judges,
cuz. I'll take the lead on this one, because
great book.
it was a decent book. I actually quite liked this book as well. So I've noted a few things down for you boys, obviously.
Lead the charge, because give us a bit of an overview. What happened?
The Book of Judges, alright. The seventh book. Alright, so we come in straight after the Book of Joshua. Now, we're not really sure, and I did a bit of a deep dive into this as well. Not really sure who wrote the Book of Judges. A lot of people believe it's Samuel, because obviously we lead on to the Book of Samuel after this.
Can we go Ruth?
Sorry, we go Ruth, but it's a part of the whole Samuel sort of chapters.
Samuel Saga.
Yeah, Samuel Saga. So we've come in, I believe we're in 1080 BC. Alright? So we come in. You're happy with that? The people are unfaithful to Jesus, or Yahweh, as you'd probably put it in the Hebrew way.
Yeah, so Yahweh's just God, right? Just
it's Jesus. Yahweh is Jesus.
Jesus.
Right, the Son of God. So he therefore delivers them into the hands of their enemies. So there was a call for, obviously, judging, essentially, which is God putting out his rules. So what did you guys think of that?
Yeah, they needed someone to step in.
You feel like they
chaotic
needed someone
after
to step
Joshua passed. Yeah, it was kind of a lot
Well,
going
it's
on.
essentially a story of 6 judges rising up out of the chaos because they keep forgetting to worship Yahweh, and they keep going off, being left to their own devices. So they run through the 6 judges. So the first up is that guy Othniel. I kind of forget his story. What was his one?
So Othniel, give me one sec, because I've got it here. So Othniel. Sure, that's his name. How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, Othniel.
Othniel.
I don't know. Yeah, he was the first judge. Not very memorable. He did something. But he rose up, and then they descended into chaos again after his time. Like, Israel had peace for a period of time. Then the next one was a bit more memorable, Ehud.
That's
he was
right.
a left-handed guy with the sword.
Yeah.
And he goes up to the king of Moab, King Eglon.
Yeah.
And he just straight up murks him with his sword, does the old left-handed maneuver.
Gets him sorted.
Sword.
Yeah, shanks him in the gut.
It's a bit of a tough one. Tough way to go.
Just the old-fashioned bang.
Very descriptive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fat and stuff was sealed around the sword, locked it in. So that was actually kind of dope. And then Israel saw peace for quite some time because King of Moab got taken out thanks to Ehud.
That's correct.
Next judge, Deborah.
No, we got Shamgar.
No, Shangara.
Yeah, Shamgar's a quick one.
What's that one?
He's the one that he killed the 600 Philistines.
Yeah, he got
goad.
Yeah.
That's
with
about
the
it. Like an ox goad. I think it's like a donkey jawbone. He just murks 600.
No, that's Samson.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What's an
Samson.
ox?
Yeah, actually, you're Samson. Yeah, that's Samson versus the Philistines. We're coming up.
Samson was the best one. Yeah.
So we got Deborah directing Barak, the army of captains, versus Gibeon of Hazar. And then you go to Gideon versus Midian.
Yeah, just stay on Deborah for a second.
Okay, you want Deborah?
So the Sisera is the commander of King Jabber of the Canaans.
Yeah.
And there's some sort of debacle about, apparently she got the army to go up against him, but there was a prophecy that she was going to be the one that actually kills him. And she ended up killing Sisera, the commander, in his tent with the tent peg straight through the temple.
Yeah.
Sisera goes to have a lie down, Deborah sneaks in and goes bang.
Yeah.
So one of the few times we actually have a woman doing anything of significance, not being a prostitute or something, so far.
Yeah. Pretty good, actually.
Yep. Like, how did you notice that? It's like, it's been almost exclusively men.
Yeah.
There's no real female call-outs. There's more to come, though, apparently. I was looking into it. Deborah's the start of... There's only a handful, though, across the whole books. But yeah, I think Deborah's pretty significant for that reason.
Yeah, so I think shout out to Debs, got it done.
Yeah.
Gets it done with the tent peg as well. Pretty brutal again.
The Battle of Tabor, obviously, pretty interesting. It would be interesting to see if we go into more of the Mount Tabor. That battle.
What's that?
That's where she did it, at the Battle of Tabor.
Okay.
Yeah. Then they sing a long song, the Song of Deborah. Everyone sings their praises.
Yeah. And then we go into Gideon.
Yeah. Gideon, let's hear it.
Children of the East versus Midian. That was a good one. What do you guys think of that one?
I wasn't sold on the whole fleece test situation.
What was the fleece test? They put a fleece out in the cold.
Yeah, he didn't really believe that God was real. He wanted to see it for himself, so he puts a fleece out. He said, if you're real, let there be dew on the ground and the fleece dry. Mm-hmm. God does it. And it's like, fair play. This time, let there be dew on the fleece and the ground dry. And he does it. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. The switcheroo.
So it's like, out of all the tests, he chose that.
But the first test was lighting the bush on fire.
Yeah.
It's kind of Moses style.
But like,
Go
surely,
back.
could have done a lot better than the Fleece.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, out of all the miracles, he chose that.
He chose that one.
But essentially, God came to Gideon and said, I want you to take out the Midian army, free up the Israelites from the Midians. You're going to be the one to do it. And he's like, well, the Midians are pretty tough. I just want to make sure you're the real deal. And I'm going to need some hard evidence that you are actually God before I launch into this tirade.
Getting it done.
So he got some evidence. Hen wasn't too happy with the evidence itself, but he got some evidence.
That is fair.
It should have been arm me with like all this stuff, or like give me all these supplies. The Fleece, come on.
Yeah.
Well, then we got
Gideon
Yefta.
actually had 70. Gideon had 70 sons.
70 sons.
70 sons.
Yeah.
Did he?
He had 70 kids.
You
You see that?
I don't think he did, cause.
Yeah, because I don't remember reading.
Oh yeah, cause the next judge. Yeah, 70 brothers. No, he had 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had.
Multiple
Jeez,
wives,
okay.
concubines.
Was that for the 40 years of peace that he produced, or was that before?
Yeah, I think he was just enjoying himself. I think that was before. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
actually, probably a bit of both.
During. Yeah. And then you go to. What do we got next? We go to.
Just
Yefta.
wrapping up Gideon, though.
Okay, because you do the wrap ups because you got more notes on Gideon.
Well, I thought it was quite interesting because he gets the army down to the Midianites, and how many punters did he have at the start?
400.
Too many, by God's count. So he took them down, and he said, "There's too many men. Take them down to the water, and I'll thin them out." And so he thinned them out. Separate those that lap the water with their tongues as a dog laps from those who kneel down to drink. So that's the age-old way.
Yeah.
And then with the 300 men that lapped, I'll save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let the others go home. So he cut the numbers from a few thousand down to a few hundred.
Yeah.
And then sent those men in. So I do kind of like that. We see that quite a lot. God just raising the stakes.
Just making sure, what you said in
Making sure that there's good optics on this and it actually looks extremely dope.
Yeah, he seems to do his research quite well, actually, doesn't he? Good military background as well. It is interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So then they just launched in. Gideon and the 100 men with him reached the edge of the camp. They blew their trumpets and broke the jars that were in their hands. A sword for the Lord and for Gideon. And they just torched the place.
Yeah. Got the job done. They did well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play to Gideon.
So then Gideon held rule for
40
years. 40?
Yeah, 40 years of peace. That was with Gideon.
40 good years.
Yeah.
Is that Gideon?
That was Gideon.
That's Gideon. Yeah, 40 years.
Then he dies, and then no sooner had Gideon died that the Israelites again prostituted themselves to the Baals. They set up Baal-berith as their god and did not remember the Lord their God. So immediately they go into chaos again.
Yeah, straight into chaos.
You got to raise up a new judge.
Yeah, Yefta. Is that how you're pronouncing it too, boys?
Yefta?
Yefta? Interesting
okay.
spelling.
So you just say soft J?
Yeah, soft J. Yefta, apparently, is how you pronounce it.
Yefta?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yefta.
Versus
the Ammonites. What do you take on that head? What's your thoughts there, cuz?
On the Ammonites?
Yeah.
With Yefta?
Yeah, with Yefta.
Yeah, Yefta really he went ballsy. So
What are you doing?
he made a vow before going into battle. He said, "I'll sacrifice whatever comes out of my house next. If you bring me a win in this war." And out walks his daughter.
Yeah.
I'm clear about how he killed her, but yeah, he killed her. I don't really know what the rationale was behind that one.
So he kills off his daughter. Is that what you said?
Certain number of things in your house. Yeah, he said if you give me a win in this war, I vow to kill something that walks out of my house first.
Yeah.
His daughter just walks out.
Yeah. So, the quote was, "And whatever comes out from the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the Ammonites shall be the Lord's, and I will offer it." So he's gone.
Who should come out to meet him but his daughter dancing to the sound of tambourines? She was an only child.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Like, how many living things can physically walk out of your house? Dumb vow.
Yeah.
But not impressed again.
So apparently, from this comes the Israelite tradition that each year the young women of Israel go out for 4 days to commemorate the daughter of Iftal, the Gileadite.
Yeah.
Interesting, because he reigned for 2 months.
Yeah, it wasn't very long, but he did get the job done.
Yeah. Well, then what happened to him in the end? Held it for 6 years.
Yeah, held it for 6 years and then buzzed.
Only 6 years in office, yeah. Short tenure.
Short tenure.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't too much to say about that one, just a bit of a... Obviously, he's a bit upset that the offers up his daughter, but, crying away, but probably rightly so, I'm guessing.
Probably rightly so. All right, guys, let's wrap it up with Samson. Probably
Samson, here we go. Big one. The big one. What are your thoughts on this one, guys?
Tell us about it, guys.
Well, Israel, we're pretty much just coming into today as well. Israel v. Palestine. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So,
Set the scene.
Set the scene. This is a bit of a big one here, guys. So, give me a sec. I've got a few notes on this one. Give me 2 secs. So, he was the last judge, and one of the last leaders who judged Israel before the institution of the monarchy. He is sometimes considered as an Israelite version of the popular Near Eastern folk hero as embodied by the samurai can't even pronounce that, Gilgamesh. So that's where you're coming in hand with your Gilgamesh, as well as the Greek Hercules. So I'm not sure. Obviously, he massacred the Palestine army with the donkey's jawbone after offending groomsmen at one of his wedding. What are your guys' takes on this one?
Well, before that, we have the birth of Samson. He comes into play.
Yeah.
And then we see him. I'm not sure what the significance of his birth was there. If you guys have any notes on that, I was more interested in the marriage scene and the lion.
Well, I think the birth, for example, the birth though, I'm not sure if this is the case, but he is told to abstain from all alcoholic drinks. So do you reckon that's where it comes from for, a lot of the Middle Eastern countries now who do abstain from drinking alcohol? Do you reckon this is where it stems from his birth?
Wait, so why was he told to abstain?
Well, the angel of the Lord states that the Manoah's wife was to abstain from all alcoholic drinks, unclean foods, and her promised child. That's how he's born.
Because his mum was barren. And they said lay off the booze.
Yeah.
Maybe that is.
Become pregnant.
So do you think that's why they don't really drink alcohol in those?
It could be.
Middle Eastern
no
states?
wine or other fermented drinks, and do not eat anything unclean. You will become pregnant and have a son whose head is never to be touched by a razor, because the boy is to be a Nazarite, dedicated to God from the womb. He will take the lead in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines.
Yeah.
The unclean is the whole hoofed animal thing, right?
Yeah.
So that fits into.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be cause.
Yeah. But we do get that rule that you can't shave his head. So it's a bit of a Schluck sort of situation. Then we get Samson.
Yep.
Lives a happy youth, adolescence. Then he goes down and he does something quite unpredicted, which was to marry a young Philistine woman.
Correct.
so marrying the enemy, a Philistine woman in Tibnah, and he married this lady. And there's this scene where he goes down, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him so that he tore the lion apart with his bare hands. So he was approaching a vineyard, and a young lion comes roaring at him, and he tears him apart with his bare hands as he might have torn a young goat.
Yep.
But he told neither his father nor his mother what he had done. Then he went down and talked to the woman, and he liked her.
Yep.
He scooped out the hunt. Sometime later, when he went back to marry her, he turned aside to look at the lion's carcass, and in it he saw a swarm of bees and some honey. He scooped out the honey with his hands and ate it as he went along. So,
Well, he gives some to his parents as well.
Yeah.
Interesting though. Interesting
imagery.
Yeah. Just ripping the
Scooping
lion
out
apart.
honey from a lion's carcass.
And then, what do you think
Milk and honey?
the markers are from there? Yeah, I can't really figure that out. What the sort of well, I mean, it's in like, you know, what's the I can't even think of the word I'm trying to say.
What's
right
the
now.
significance?
What's
of
the
the lion?
significance?
What's the
Yeah,
significance of the
correct.
honey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a throwaway to the milk and honey? Getting that out of like, does the lion represent the Philistines? Like, predicting what's to come and saving Israel and getting the honey out of that.
And
beast?
she's the honey. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, maybe that because, you know, the land is often referred to as like the land of milk and honey, and finding, and maybe that means he's going to find the freedom of the Israelites and predicts that to come. The riddle was really strange. I don't know if it was just lost in translation or something, but out of the eater, something to eat; out of the strong, something sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the answer is, what is sweeter than honey?
Honey.
What is stronger than a lion?
The lion, yeah. If you had not ploughed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle.
Yeah.
No clue.
Because the wife goes. The wife tells the Philistines the answer because she got it straight out of Samson, and then we see she's still got loyalties to the Philistines even though she's married to Samson. But that riddle didn't really make sense. So for me personally, whatever.
But
then anyway,
it was interesting to see what he does after the riddle. So Samson then travels 30 miles away, where he slays 30 Palestinians for their garments. Just gets the job done. Boots on the ground. wants what they're wearing, so he's like, all right, let's have a go. It's just, I don't know. But he does give it to the groomsmen and I believe the bride as well.
So killing those 30 punters, was that with the donkey's jaw then?
I'm not sure.
No, I think that was previously.
Yeah, that was previously, yeah.
He might have kept it on him.
What do you mean?
I'm not sure. No. Sorry, that comes later. The donkey's jawbone comes later. So then, Samson returns to his father's house, giving the garments to everyone in the house, sort of thing. Then Samson goes out, gathers 300 foxes, and ties them together in pairs by their tails. He then attaches a burning torch to each pair of the foxes' tails and turns them loose in the green of fields and olive groves of the Palestinians. Interesting way to just clear the herd, like getting the job done there. The Palestinians then learn why Samson burnt their crops and burnt Samson's wife and father-in-law to death in retribution.
In your copy, does it say Palestines?
Philistines. Sorry, Philistines.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. That's correct. It keeps on Palestine. It's just the Palestines. Just get the Palestines on the boat. Yes. Sorry, guys. The Philistines. That's where we're at.
Yeah, so these Philistines really get cleaned up. And then they... so Samson is kind of like the OG Hercules, which I find really interesting. Because he's got this... Like, we haven't really seen anyone come in with super strength. And just out of the blue, we've got like a superhero coming into it.
Merc and the Lion.
ripping apart lions.
Yeah.
There's something to be said there with killing lions. That's the same thing that Hercules did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Killing the lion.
There's something there.
A few other things.
Something to be said.
I think it's like, I don't know, what does lion represent? Majestic strength or something?
But do you reckon there actually was a punter back in 10,000 BC that was tearing apart lions?
Well, 1000 BC.
Are we calling
Could
it
be.
1,000 or 10,000?
1000.
Because we're calling Moses 14,000.
No, we're not calling Moses 14,000, are we?
No, but it's BC.
Yeah, it's BC. It's before Christ.
So, yeah,
So about 3,000 years.
Yeah, but weren't we calling Moses 14?
There's a big gap in between them. I don't think we're calling Moses that 14 because. Let me just have a quick look. When was Moses around?
Yeah, we are, lads. 1391 to 1271. Just before the collapse of the Bronze Age.
Yeah, so that's not
it
14.
goes back the other way.
Yeah, it goes back the other way, cuz.
13 to 1200.
I'm aware of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm
So
saying
that's
there's
why-
been a big jump from Moses to now. It's like 13,000 years.
Yeah, so there's. No, because there's only been 500 years.
What do you mean?
Oh, sorry. No, there's been 300 years.
No,
between
1400. Sorry.
Yeah, because it's not
I
14,000.
got mixed up. 1400.
Yeah, so if only for about 400 years, guys.
Alright.
Yeah,
That's what that goes.
just relax, guys.
That actually kind of makes sense. Alright, so about 400 years.
It's been
when
a
you account
14,000
for-
year gap.
Yeah, that's a lot of generations in the desert.
Yeah.
Numbers really did drag on.
But then, so this was so then, in revenge, Samson slaughters many more Philistines, saying, "I have done to them what they did to me." Samson then takes refuge in a cave, the rock of Etam, or Etam. I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Yep.
Any army of the Philistines go to the tribe of Judah and demand 3,000 men of Judah deliver them Samson, with Samson's consent given on the condition that the Judahites would not kill themselves. They tie him with 2 new ropes and are about to hand him over to the Philistines. When he breaks free of the ropes, using the jawbone of the donkey, that's when he slays 1,000 Philistines. That's when he just starts going nuts.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets the job done.
Yeah.
So that jawbone can really do some damage.
Interesting weapon
Well, it
choice,
is
but yeah.
in his hand. I think it's because he was in ropes already, so he's getting tied up. You just grab what you can. He grabs the jawbone. Decides this is it.
Start swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then they do eventually get him.
they
The
do
death of Samson.
in Gaza, of all places.
Yeah, so if you look at the old map, I do actually think it's probably worth showing that to you lads. I know how much you love it.
Let's see the map goes.
Where Philistine, the perceived Philistia, of the area that they're talking about, is actually where Gaza is. So I'll just show you.
Let's see, Guz.
Let's see it.
What are we dealing with, Guz?
Alright, so this is the old map we all know and love. So down over here is Philistine, or they've labelled as Philistia here,
Yeah.
and that's where Gaza is.
Yeah,
And there's a few theories out there to say that these peoples back then was actually like some Greeks that came over there and settled. Either way, that they weren't Israelites, obviously. So but the actual ethnicity of these people back then, we're talking 1200 or 1000 BC, is they could have been Greeks. And I find that interesting because the Greek story of Hercules and then Samson is
So you reckon that's the
crossing over
time?
here. Well, yeah, I don't know.
well, that's why Samson's nickname. That's why they, as well as the Greek Hercules. I thought Hercules was Greek in general.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
It's one of the Greek gods.
Yeah. So why some would consider him the Israelite version of the Greek Hercules? Or okay, makes sense. So he's the Israel version of the Greek Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could have been Greek?
He could have been Greek. You never know, cuz.
Was he the first Hercules?
Yeah, there you have it.
Was he the original?
So then what actually happens to Samson? They do because, I mean, so Hercules, his story is that he goes through like 12 big challenges. 12 labors, 12 labors of Hercules. And this Samson's following a pretty similar ordeal here. Not quite as spelled out as 12 challenges, but he goes through those big milestones, fighting the lion, killing those 1,000 Philistines, solving riddles. I don't know. It's kind of a similar vibe to it. But they do eventually kill him, just like they kill Hercules.
They do.
So what do they do to him, guys?
What do they do to him, guys? Let's have a look here, guys. So the Philistines, they assembled the temple of religious sacrifice to Dagon. Now, have you guys looked into Dagon, or just get past that for the time being?
Dagon, so what, he's like a Philistine god, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he gets the job done. He's worshipped in ancient Syria. So you look at, so they assemble, they go talk to Dagon, they summon, so then one of their most important deities for having delivered Samson into their hands, they summon Samson so that the people can watch him perform to them. The temple is so crowded that people are even climbing onto the roof to watch, and all the rulers of the entire government of Philistia have gathered there to watch 3,000 people in all as well. Samson's led in there, obviously. He prays for the strength, and God's give him strength to break the pillars, causing the temple to collapse, killing him and all the people inside as well. So, just gets buried.
So that was his last hurrah. Essentially, they seize him, they gouge out his eyes, and then he's like just this kind of slave down to the Philistines, dragging ropes around, milling grain, and they cut his hair. And that was a big source of his strength. But his
hair does grow back. Yeah.
So he's blind, bald, milling grain, pretty bleak existence. But then you're right, because he grabs into that temple, one last hurrah. His hair starts to grow back, and then he just tears it down.
Yeah. And that's it. Gets the job done.
Yeah, a lot of Hercules crossovers. Tearing down pillars.
Yeah, there's a fair bit there.
Let me die with the Philistines, and he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple and the rulers and all the people in it. Thus he killed many more when he died than while he lived. Yeah,
three odd thousand people. He's just trapped in there. They do recover his body too, which is nice. Go and bury him next to his father in Manoah. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right either. Manoah? Manoah? Not sure.
Yeah. Somewhere between Zor and Ashtar.
Just no idea. But it's good to see that they get the job done there.
Yeah.
So what's your take on it, boys? What's your take?
On Samson?
Just on the judges itself.
On the whole.
Well, the most brutal one was the concubine in the appendix. Did you boys get to that?
What is it, cuz?
What's that, cuz?
The I believe it was 19 to 21. Yeah, Levite's concubine. So Judges 19.
19 to 21.
Yeah, have a look at that. It's said to be the most.
Levite. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're allowed to say this on YouTube, but the gang of all of that. Yeah, a bit intense.
Yeah, I don't know if we can really talk about this on YouTube. That's
no, I don't.
So,
they just take their turns with the wives.
Yeah, then
Non-consensually.
The husband is... They ask for the husband. The
Yeah.
husband stays inside, offers
Yeah.
up his wife or concubine.
Yeah.
She gets mutilated, and
Yeah.
then the husband comes out the next day, sees her, decides, I'm going to let all the tribes know,
Yeah.
cuts her up into 12 pieces, delivers each piece to the tribe.
Yeah.
The tribes are like, what is this? And they, it starts just a war. They kill the husband.
So why did
Yeah.
he cut her up? Because of what they did to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unsure why he cut her up. He's like,
I'm pretty unsure as to why he did as well, especially when he offered her up as
he's like,
in
I'm
her
gonna-
place. In
they
his
say
place.
it's a call to action
Yeah.
to get
Call to
the
arms.
people that did it to her, but it
Yeah.
really backfires, and they're like, mate, why are you cutting her up in the first place? So
Yeah. So that's the war
leads to
between
a civil war
the
with the Benjamites.
the Benjamites and the Israelite tribes. After which hundreds of virgins are taken captive as wives for the decimated Benjamites.
But
Yeah.
brutal story, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal book, really. Judges a lot of carnage, a lot of side missions going on.
Yeah. This is really
Yeah.
a classic Old Testament sort of.
That's what we say this every book.
So, but this is literally Old Testament.
This is what
To
you
be
think
fair-
of when you say Old Testament.
Yeah.
This is just carnage left and right.
It is crazy though to
Judges.
think that there is, however many billions of people on Earth that religious people anyway that stick to this book, plain and simple. It's quite amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit worrying
Amazing.
once you start going through the nitty
When
gritty.
you're like, you think the Bible's just such a sweet and innocent book of, do's and don'ts in a way, and in reality,
recommendations.
it's
How
a
to
bit
make
more
a good moral compass.
yeah, a bit more severe
down
than
to-
that.
Yeah, in terms of actual volume and word count, there's probably more detail on the throes of this concubine than the entire Noah story.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, the inconsistency in the writing. we gloss over Joshua like it's nothing, and then we got chapters on, people
Just
getting mutilated.
Some severe
So,
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, the writers need to sort this shit out. But
Yeah, well, it's pretty full on stuff, and I think it's just because you're so deep into it at this point that when you're in the body of the text, you can slip through a lot of stories that would have raised a few eyebrows back on in Genesis.
Yeah.
yeah, Genesis,
'Cause
they
didn't think
really
you'd get this
lure
far.
you in. They lure you in with the nice open starts,
Family-friendly stories,
Yeah.
yeah,
Garden of Eden.
sunshine and rainbows. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Fresh
all
roses.
yeah.
It's just-
Everything's all sweet and innocent, and then you just come straight into the last few books, and it's all happening.
Judges is
It's brutal.
Well, it's
It has been the most brutal book I find, and I think we've really hit the ground running now. I think we're in for a bit more.
Yeah, we're well and truly into the thick of it now, lads.
Where does it see off in Judges?
It was just the Benjaminites taking their wives, and then
Yeah, that's of it. Despite their
in
appearances
those
at the
days,
end
Israel
of the
had
book,
no king.
yeah,
Everyone did as they
correct.
saw fit. So it ends as a free for all.
Yeah,
Yeah. So and what's up next?
Ruth.
Ruth is
Book of
next.
Ruth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruth was a book.
Well, you guys are gonna like this because it's all of 3 pages.
Excellent.
Live reading.
I might actually read that one instead of listen to it. Worth it.
And then
And then we get
following
into
that,
the big. Then we get into the big fella. Then we get into the Samuels.
Samuel, quite juicy.
Samuel 1, Samuel 2.
Samuel is big. Oh
Yeah.
god. All right.
1 Samuel,
Well,
2
let's just
Samuel.
enjoy it. We'll just leave it at Ruth for next week.
Alright, guys, let's do
We
it.
can get what? Sammy 1 done, maybe? How long is each?
We can get Sammy 1 done.
Yeah, let's get. No, let's just
Fine.
leave it on Ruth. Let's just leave it on Ruth. We're breaking it up into books, boys. Let's just not skip through.
Yeah, let's just
deep
do
dive
it.
into each. Let's deep
Still
dive
good
into
day
each.
with Ruth.
Yeah.
Well, next week I
that's
think we need to jump back to Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm keen for that.
There's been some things happening over there.
Or
Yeah.
any only news headline I thought I'd touch on today. Obviously, the school shooting in the States. Another one.
Yeah.
14-year-old, 4 people shot. A lot more people in there. Being tried as an adult. So Colt Gray, I think his name is. So been arrested.
Could we see that
obviously,
coming into the? Could we see that coming into the debates? Do you reckon, guys? School shootings. They never really seem to crop up anywhere.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's because it's so heavily linked to gun control, and obviously, like you saw, Kamala Harris has taken a big back step on gun control as well. Wants that middle class who loves their guns. So I don't see that coming into the debate at all. Although it is
neither
interesting.
party really wants to touch on it.
Yeah, no one wants to touch
There's
it.
too much at risk.
Yeah, everyone loves their guns, so I can't imagine that they'll be touching base on that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
We had some comments in the live stream.
Have we? What have we got?
What do we see?
What do we see, cuz?
Looking good, boys. Hi, boys. Interesting parallel from Dad. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the support.
You see old live stream? I love it.
Yeah, good to see.
Very good. Very good. So we've had a
Alright,
few
chaps.
comments.
Well, yeah.
Morning, boys. Oh shit, the boys are live.
Yeah, a good one. Well, shout out to
Well, that's good, lads.
Yeah.
We're in Sydney for the marathon next weekend, so it could be a bit tricky getting this one up in the air.
Could just do one on the road, cuz. Just a little Sydney special.
Let's see how we go. Because the Saturday morning we're all on planes and stuff, so from your end it will be. But we'll keep.
Why don't we just postpone it till do a little midweek session?
Yeah,
the following
I think if
week?
we're gonna skip a week, we should do Sam 1.
Alright, cuz.
Sammy 1.
I agree with that. We'll have a lot to unpack anyway. Yeah, marathon scores, how your run's going, obviously. The debate. Yeah, it's going to be a big one. So probably set aside 2 hours instead of this the hour and a half that this one went for.
This one really, for the live stream, they really got the money's worth.
Yeah.
They dragged on, boys. All right, good work today, lads.
All right, boys, take care.
Well done, lads.
See you, lads.
Well done.
Bye.